Hello everybody, good evening. My name is Satyajit and I'm here to discuss one of such questions that we are actually discussing on daily basis, that is called as a daily answer writing program. This program is uniquely designed for UPSC students, and here on this platform of Dnyanadeep Academy, we discuss one question, its structure and content on daily basis. I welcome you all and I would like to start my question. As I am faculty responsible for Indian Society and Sociology optional, I am specially assigned for Indian Society questions. I have brought one question in front of you. That question I would like to read. What are the continued challenges for women in India? This question has been asked in 2019 and that question was asked for 15 marks. Okay. And as you can recall in the last session of mine, we discussed about the number of pages that are allocated for 10 and 15 marker questions likewise. So it is a 15 marker question. So we are given with 3 separate pages to write on, the answer to write on these pages. So we will first discuss about the structure, how we can design this answer in 3 different pages. What should be the content, that will be the second part of my discussion. So without delays, let's discuss about, okay, so the question is very simple. The question has only one single part. We have to address that only one single part, that continued challenges for women. So you have to focus on the what has been asked, what is the focus. Okay, the continued challenges is the focus of this question. Now, but the beyond that focus, we also need to discuss about what should be the introduction and what can be the conclusion of this question. Okay, so how to design this question? We have 3 different pages, and I would like to start with that modeling, okay, how we can design the 3 pages. Okay, so these 3 pages, and as it is 15 marker question, the word limit for these questions is around 200 words. Okay, so the first 3 to 4 lines around, as it is 15 marker question, you will dedicate first 4 to 5, maximum 5 lines for introduction, and likewise as conclusion you will also dedicate 4 to 5 lines for conclusion. Okay, and the rest of this body will constitute subsequent part that has been asked in the questions, and this is only one single part has been asked in the question, so we'll address that only single part. That part is called as what are the continued challenges in front of this woman of India. Okay, so you have to design accordingly your answer, but look at that keyword, the very important keyword they have used, the continued challenges. Okay, the word I would like to focus on, continued, because let's take another question. Okay, if UPSC asks like what are the challenges in front of the Indian women, so how you will answer will be different from what are the continued challenges. Okay, the word continued becomes more important here, and you have to write what were the challenges the women of India were facing in the past also. Okay, and now these the what you can say challenges the faced by this women in the past are now still continued in the present moment. You have to focus on that part. So continued, this word gains more importance here. Okay, so we will address this continued part in the first, let's say 1/3 of this answer. Let's say somewhere here, the continued. So how I can bring the focus on this continued word? I would like to draw one diagram here. Okay, so through that diagram, I would like to discuss what were the challenges faced by women of India in the past. Okay, so there's such 5, 7, 5, 6 challenges. Okay, random challenges like sati pratha, like you can say dowry, like you can say harassment against women, and etc. So if you can write such 5 to 6 challenges faced by women in India in the past 100 or 200 years, or let's say 1000 years even. So this will be a great idea. And now you can just start with this second part of this answer, second major part of this answer. Now how these challenges are still continued in the present India. So now you can say, and thus these challenges are continued in present day India, continued challenges. Okay, and now if it is 15 marker question, I want such 15 different points from your answer, for 15 to 10 to 15 different parts. As you have written 5 different dimensions here, I would like to actually entertain 10 different topics here. Okay, 10 different challenges from various sectors. The sectors from society, polity, economy, workplaces, even many other like parliament and even cyberbullying and etc. Okay, so such 10 different challenges I would like to entertain here. So if you write such 10 different challenges here, the continued challenges in continuation with this first half, that has not been directly asked, but the continued word is very important. You have to focus on that word also. So the word continued get justice here, and now you can start with your body. And in conclusion, how you can conclude, by the way, before that, how you will introduce You may introduce with let's say fact or data, okay, or एखादी case study or a news that you have read in the recent newspaper channels and etc. So fact and data, maybe probably NCRB data, National Crimes Records Bureau data, okay, that can also work. So NCRB data can also work, how women are getting harassed, what is the rate of domestic violence or the rapes that are going on in Indian society. Let's say either after every 20 minutes one woman in India gets raped. So you can write NCRB data, recent NCRB data as an introduction, okay, and the continued word get justice here and continued challenges, and likewise a conclusion. So in conclusion, you may suggest few solutions to these continued challenges. Okay, so this tone of this continued challenges is somewhat negative, and as a positive tone of the ending of the conclusion, you may provide some solutions here. Okay, and in that solutions part or the conclusion part, you can break this conclusion part into two different parts. Okay, the first half of the conclusion can be what government is doing in regard to that, what government initiatives are actually working on field, and second half of the conclusion can be what needs to be done more. Okay, so the first, let's say, half, I would write ki government is implementing the schemes like gender budgeting, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, etc. And what needs to be done more, that is your solution on your part, on your behalf. Okay, so this is how you can design your answer. Okay, so if you are okay with this design, you will, I'll like to discuss the content of this question. Okay. As the introduction can be data, case study, or any news that has been in the newspapers in recent times, you can write as introduction. But let's talk about the content. The continued challenges can be the first, gender discrimination overall. Indian society is patriarchal, and that patriarchal mindset is still dominant in Indian families, men and women also. Okay, so gender discrimination not only in the basis of domestic sphere, but also in the public sphere, gender discrimination is very continued now. On economic part, on political spheres, and even in domestic and social spheres, women get discriminated. It actually cost, or it actually tolls their human rights, even their educational rights, even their health rights, and etc. So you can talk about how the gender discrimination is working in all socio-economic and political fields. Okay. Then secondly, the important continued challenges in front of Indian women in the last few centuries is violence against women. That violence can be physical, that violence can be verbal, that violence can be sexual, or that violence can be mental even. So all these types of violences are the continued challenges that women of India are still facing. So this violence, you must write this violence at both the spheres, like public sphere, that means how a case study, maybe the Nirbhaya rape case or any other case study like Katu or something like this. So you can write that case study of violence against women in public sphere, but at the same time you must not forget to write the violence against women in domestic spheres. So you must mention here how the rate of domestic violence that is going on, how many women are there who actually fall victim to the domestic violence or dowry deaths and etc. Okay, so violence against women can be the second such continued challenge. Then third can be the unequal access to education. It's very important issue, though many families and many societies, even the many families in rural and urban area, are observing changes in that women or the girls are getting equal education, or the GER, that is gross enrollment ratio, in the schools is at par with the men or the boys. But still at higher education level we can observe that women are not represented at par with men, and in higher education only 25% of the women or the girls are getting access to the education. So because of that lack of access to education, it actually impacts on their skill, their employability and other economic independence parameters. Okay, so unequal access to education can be another sector in which women are facing challenges, continued challenges, I would like to say. Then limited economic opportunities, again one of the important issues that women are facing. As you can observe the data from the especially the World Economic Forum's gender gap report, or I would like to quote even Niti Aayog's report on etc. In India we have wage gap of 26%. Okay, so the same work done by the women and men, they get differential payments, like 26% gap is there in the payments of men and women. Even more importantly, the female labor force participation rate, that is called as how many women are actually in the workforce, that is still, I mean, lowering day by day. And nowadays it is just 23% of total women that are working in the economic sectors. So limited economic opportunities is another very important challenge कि still women are not seen perfect for the role of breadwinners. Okay, so they are still let's say attached to maybe they are thrown into the domestic chores or the family responsibilities. So the economic opportunities, the dearth of economic opportunity is still a continued challenge. Then next is very important, the healthcare disparities. Okay, if you observe the maternal mortality rates in India, they are much higher than the other developing countries. We are, of course, we are working on it. Still, great progress has been made, but healthcare disparities are still there in case of women's health. At the same time, I would like to mention one important fact here. Ki total of the 50% of the total women are anemic in India. So this is very, you can say, very acute data. And out of this, 12% are of acute anemia. Okay, so healthcare disparities are there. Then you can say child marriages are still rampant in India, especially in the less developed regions like Bundelkhand, Marathwada, even Rajasthan. The child marriage system or the child marriage custom is still prevalent. And according to the one important report that has been recently published, what is called as SARI, SARI report, total of the 30, I mean, total of these marriages that are actually happening in India, out of them, 1/3 of the marriages are child marriages in India. Is very, very important. Actually, it's very shameful to note that 30% of total marriages are child marriages in India, and it's also impact the not only the girl child but also the future generation. Okay, so the child marriage is still an important challenge, continued challenge in front of Indian women. And this is very interesting, by the way. India is a patriarchal society, and the birth of a male or the boy child, male child is actually welcomed here. And several attempts are made to welcome that boy child or male child because of that concept called as son meta preference or Vanshacha Diva. And because of that, the female feticide and infanticide cases are rising on daily basis, and we are actually using technology for it like sonography and etc., through which we are actually performing the abortions of the girl children. Okay, so son meta preference is very important, through which we sex selective practices we are conducting, an illegal practice, though illegal practice, we are conducting that, and that is how it is impacting the sex ratio. And in some cases, in some places like we have Haryana and Punjab, the sex ratio is actually lowering, and that is not so healthy for the complete society. Son meta preference, even political underrepresentation is very important area in which the women of India are facing continued challenges. If you can note the data of the recent Lok Sabha, out of this total MPs, that is called as Member of Parliaments, only 14.4% of the total MPs are women MPs. Okay, and if you can observe the data from the last Lok Sabha, it was 12.6, though it is now increasing from 12.6% to 14.4, but still it is 14.4% of the total women, total MPs, those are women. But at the same time, if I observe the population data, women represent 47% of total population. But out of this 47%, only 14% of the total MPs are women MPs. That you should note. And Parliament has still, the bill called as One Not Constitutional Amendment bill is still pending in front of Parliament. So somewhat patriarchal political institutions are dominating these structures, and this is a continued challenge in front of women of India. So politically, they are underrepresented. Despite we have given the 30% representation to women through 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act in Gram Panchayats and etc., still the Sarpanchpati, called as the concept called as Sarpanchpati, is still a rampant practice in India. The husband actually takes care of the official works of the Sarpancha. Actually, his wife is Sarpanch. Okay, that is called as Sarpanchpati. So political underrepresentation because of the patriarchal mindset is still a challenge. And nowadays, we are observing a continued challenge that is called as bullying or harassment that was actually done on physical basis, let's say 100 years ago. But nowadays, that abuse or bullying is very easy because of the cyber or social media platforms. So that continued challenge of bullying or harassment is now been shifted towards mobile phones or laptops or TV and etc. Thus, the continued challenge of harassment is there. So cyberbullying and online harassment is very rampant nowadays, and women are facing the continued challenge of the harassment, you can say, on the online platforms. So these are some points I would like to mention. Okay, you can add few more points to it. You can add, you can think innovatively what other challenges are. Of course, this is an open-ended question, so I would entertain more such points on your behalf. Okay, now efforts are ongoing to address these challenges. As a conclusion, what I would like to mention here, okay, as a conclusion, you must write what government is doing in that regard, how government is trying through its various efforts to minimize these challenges in front of a woman. And second half should be your suggestion ki how we can solve these problems, how we can minimize these harassment cases or the challenges in front of women. So efforts are ongoing on the basis of, let's say, legislative reforms are going on, like triple talaq, awareness campaigns are going on, grassroots initiatives are going on, but the exact solution lies in the empowerment of women, social empowerment, political empowerment, and economic empowerment at the same time. So all these three wings of the empowerment should work in collaboration. Okay, so your conclusion should be somewhere ki the initiatives for the complete empowerment of women should be taken in our hands. Okay, so on this basis, I would like to conclude this question, and thank you very much for this question. I would again come with another question in the some other episodes. Thank you very much.